The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississauga peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. The Durham District School Board recognizes Indigenous rights are distinct. In the exercise of those rights, Indigenous staff and students shall not be subjected to actions with the aim or effect of depriving these distinct rights. The Durham District School Board is committed to learning and working environments that center human rights and are safe, welcoming, respectful, equitable, accessible, inclusive, and free from discrimination. The DDSB recognizes the historical and ongoing oppression that the 2S LGBTQI peoples face across our greater society, including education systems, and commits to moving forward with the intention to acknowledge past traumas and build a system that celebrates, supports, respects, values, and embraces the 2S LGBTQIA peoples. So before we begin and I invite our first speakers up, I just want to take a moment to invite all those who may be speaking to come have a seat at the front before we begin. But in an effort, I know there's a lot of tenseness happening right now. I just thought we could just give a big round of applause just to share space with everyone. It's so wonderful to see everyone in here. So at this time to begin today, I would like to invite our director, Camille Williams-Taylor, to bring opening remarks on behalf of the system.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, this is a happy day. It's a celebration day. It is a warm day. It is a community day. Okay, it's a chilly day, but it's a warm day. It's a community day because this experience, this opportunity is a day to demonstrate that we are all in community together to recognize something that is very important, and we are symbolizing our community to our community. So good morning again. My name is Camille Williams-Taylor. I'm the Director of Education for the Durham District School Board, and I never assume that everybody knows who I am, so I am just going to start with that introduction, and thank you, Sean, for opening us up in a good way this morning. On this day, we come together to recognize the ongoing reality that our 2S LGBTQIA friends and family members face as they continue to fight for equality and acceptance, and as we fight together with them as allies. It is a day to acknowledge the discrimination and violence that still persists simply because of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. But today is also a day to celebrate the progress that has been made in the fight for 2S LGBTQ+ rights. We recognize the bravery and the resilience of those who have fought tirelessly for the freedom to be who they are authentically and love who they want to love, and despite the obstacles that they have faced. At a time when hard-won advances for our 2S LGBTQIA communities around the globe are increasingly under threat, the power of community across identities has never been more necessary. This day is a reminder that all of us within the Durham District School Board have duty-bearer responsibilities to stand up against homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia, wherever we may encounter it. We must continue to educate ourselves and educate others to create safe spaces for 2S LGBTQIA+ individuals, and to ensure that our DDSB human rights policies, practices, and expectations are put into place and into practice in our schools, our classrooms, our work sites, everywhere that we call ourselves DDSB community. The raising of the Progress Pride flag on this day sends a message to the students, staff, and communities of the DDSB that there is no place for discrimination and reminds us of our commitments to putting human rights and equity at the center of everything we do. Our expectation is that schools will raise the Progress or Pride flag on May 17th, today, and will keep it raised until June 30th to acknowledge that June is Pride Month. Let us unite in our shared commitment to love and acceptance for all, coming together to celebrate the diversity and resilience of our 2S LGBTQIA communities. As we do so, let us all renew our dedication together as a community of allies to the work that still needs to be done. When we join together, drawing on our varied and beautiful perspectives, we can truly effect change. So, thank you for being here today, and we look forward to the raising of our flag outside of our premises today. And as you drive through the Durham District School Board community, you will see our flags flying high in front of our buildings, our schools, sending a very clear message about where we stand as the Durham District School Board.
Thank you, Director Williams-Taylor. Two words that stood out to me from your address was community and dedication. And this work doesn't continue without our community who are dedicated to this work. And it is a solidarity to the work that we're doing. And in partnership, we would like to invite a variety of community members to come up this morning to share some remarks as well, to show support for this cause. So first on our list of speakers, we have Angie from ETFO who would like to come up to speak.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angie Ingalls. I'm a vice president over at ETFO, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, with the Durham Teachers Local. I don't wish to take up a lot of space in this room today. However, I will say that I appreciate the work that DDSB teachers, education workers, the board, some trustees are doing in support of our 2S LGBTQ+ students, staff, and families to ensure they feel safe and included in their schools and in their classrooms. It's obvious, given the actions that took place in this very room just 2 days ago, that there is much work that needs to be done to protect the queer community from hate and violence. It must be called out for what it is and shut down. Human rights protecting sexual orientation, gender identities, and gender expression are non-negotiable. We will continue to stand with the queer community. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. We appreciate it. Before I invite up our next speaker, I just wanted to just acknowledge some of the members of our community who could not be here today. We're always in partnership with DAO, as well as CARIA and PFLAG, who are very, very strong allies to the work that we're doing. And although they could not be here today, I'd just like us to acknowledge the fact that our continued partnership and support from them is so meaningful as we move this work forward. At this time, I'd like to invite Shane Stagg up from OSSTF.
Thank you, and good day, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here today representing secondary teachers and professional student services personnel. District 13 of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation has a long history of supporting our queer staff, students, and the broader community here in Durham. We have and will continue to lead the way in this work. We recognize the historic harms rooted in our colonial past and the impact that it continues to have today for all oppressed folks. On this day, we would like to draw particular attention to the intersectionality of identities with queerness. The International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia was created in 2004 to draw attention to the violence and discrimination experienced by lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, intersex people, and all those with diverse sexual orientations, gender identities or expressions, and sex characteristics. I wish we could report that since the creation of this day in 2004, that things have improved for 2S LGBTQI community. The reality, however, is that globally, the queer community is finding themselves under attack. Across Canada, we are seeing anti-trans rhetoric and vocal opposition to pride events, drag shows, drag queen story time, and even opposition to ceremonies like our flag raising today. We are seeing this anti-queer movement right here in Durham. We need to name it. An attack on queer community is homophobia and transphobia. We ask that all others also call out and name this hate for what it is. District 13 would like to be clear and unequivocal in our position. We will always support the protections granted under the Ontario Human Rights Code, and we will be here for students, parents, colleagues, and the community. The rights protecting the wide range of sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expression are non-negotiable, and the labor movement will not stand by silently. So as we come together on this International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia and raise the flag, may we all support each other in healing and celebrate the richness and contributions of all of our intersecting identities. District 13 OSSTF is here for the queer community. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Before we proceed on with our final speaker for this morning, we can't go without mentioning the commitment that we have from our trustees, and we have a few of them joining us here today. So we just want to acknowledge the trustees that are here. Trustee Christine Thatcher, Deb Oldfield, and as well as our chair, Donna Edwards. We thank you for your continued presence, support, and commitment to this work. And my friend Brendan from ACDR will come up to speak now. Thank you.
Let me see, is this a good spot? Okay. Yeah, we might need to, let me see, that works. Okay. So my name is Brendan Tihani. My pronouns are they, them, and he, him, and I am the MSM Outreach Coordinator at the AIDS Committee of Durham Region. I'd like to thank the Durham District School Board for inviting me to speak today on this, the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. I would like to acknowledge that the work we're doing here, as well as at ACDR, takes place in the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. The impacts of colonialism among Indigenous peoples continues to have wide-ranging consequences, including the erasure of pre-colonial concepts of gender and sexuality, which have only recently been reclaimed under the umbrella identity of Two-Spirit. It is essential that we continue to challenge the legacy of colonialism in this country and work towards true reconciliation for harms done. So we are here today to raise the fight against homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia, and there's never been a more important time to do so. We live at a time when the rights and safety of people within the 2S LGBTQIA community, particularly trans women, are being challenged with a frequency and fervor that's alarming to witness. Safeties which had long felt secure, like the right to marry, access to health care, employment equity, and even the right to simply exist around children, are being challenged both at individual and institutional levels around the world. It's important to understand that these actions are having a steady and ongoing impact on 2S LGBTQIA youth growing up today. These challenges of their rights to exist are creating formative ideas around what their identities mean in the world around them. The face of homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia in our world can make it a scary and unwelcoming place for queer youth and leads to higher prevalence of mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and suicide. We cannot allow the loud voices of intolerance to define the lives of our youth. It is absolutely essential now more than ever to make a rallying cry, to tell the 2S LGBTQIA youth in our communities that we see you, we acknowledge you, and we love you. That there will be a place for them, friends for them, community for them, and most importantly, safety for them in our society. So I am thankful to the DDSB for the work they do every day to combat homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia within our schools, and for taking the time to mark this day in defiance of voices who would seek to silence us. We will not be silenced, we will not disappear, we will not let your bigotry define us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. I met Brendan virtually a few weeks ago, and I had no idea he was 6'10", compared to my 5'6", which is a stretch. At this time, we are going to be engaging in raising the flag. As you can see on the screens behind me and to my left, that we have it live streamed. For those of you who would like to go outside to observe the flag being raised, we are more than welcome to do so. We do ask that if you are going outside to observe the flag being raised, that you do so by exiting through the courtyard doors and not the side doors here. So those are the doors directly to the behind us as you exit the boardroom. So right now we'll provide a few moments for those of you who wish to make your way outside if you're comfortable doing so, or you're more than welcome to stay here and watch it on the screen. So once again, for all of our people who are viewing the live stream online, we thank you for taking time out your day to observe the flag raising today. We know that the good work will continue in your buildings right across the DDSB as we continue to promote, uplift human rights, and dismantle hate in all its forms. Again, just as a reminder, we know Camille Williams-Taylor, our director, mentioned that we will be keeping this flag up until the end of June, as we will move directly into Pride Month. And as we move into June, we will continue to honor and uplift the rights that we uphold as human rights bearers to our duty as supporters to the cause. Have a great day, great afternoon, and we look forward to continuing the great work that we're doing across our system.